going abroad is only for rich or something like that.
When I was dreaming for US, I have lot of myths about US. No age limit.
No age.
No,
Even
no
at the
age.
age of 35, 40 also
Yes.
they can apply.
So university can easily understand that it's not written by a student. Legally you are allowed to work
20
only
hours.
inside the campus.
Before picking a course for graduation, decide what you are good at.
Do some market research. If I'm going for a job in Java, the Java jobs are easily available.
Correct.
But obviously the salaries will be on a lower side. If I have interest in like SAP, right? If I have interest in AI, if I have interest in like cybersecurity, right? Obviously these are some of the fields where the salary package will be on a higher side. So counselor is the one who guides you according to your profile, but agent is the one who guides you according to the universities they have in their panel. If he is not able to manage his studies, so how he is going to counsel you for that?
Choose credibility over confidence, preparation over panic, and long-term outcomes over short-term wins. So the right university, the right guidance, and the right intent can make all the difference. Welcome to the show. Today we have with us someone who sits on the other side of the admission table, at the side most students and parents are deeply curious about. So it's my absolute pleasure to welcome Mr. Priyank. He's an international recruitment officer of Case Western Reserve University, one of the deep research universities in the US. Priyank works closely with international students across geographies, and he clears the myths around the admissions requirements, criteria for applications, still visas and everything. So he is with us today. Welcome, Priyank, to our podcast. So we are looking forward to learn from your experience on your journey from your education till this position of International Recruitment Officer, Case Western Reserve University.
So thank you so much for inviting me. And I think it's a big opportunity for me to have a discussion and to talk with the audience. So
Yeah. So can you share an experience being you went to US as a student, then pursued your MS, then you work well, like 14 years of your experience till today, where you have reached an international recruitment officer, the journey.
sure. So let me start with as being a student. So when I started planning for US, so the first question arises is like, how should I start with?
Yeah,
Right? What kind of exam should I appear for?
correct.
And what kind of course I can look out for? And the major issue is with the universities. Like there are more than 4,500 universities in US. So which universities my profile suits for? Right. So these are some of the questions that I was looking forward for. Then I started finding one of the agent to whom I can start with. Right. I started my own research about the universities. Then I found some of the agents to whom I can have a discussion about my profile. So they said like, yeah, you can go for this. They help me with the shortlisting, and they talk about the weightage, like the weightage of the profile of your academics, then the weightage of your statement of purpose, letters of recommendation, resume, and the weightage of the exams. Like if you are appearing for a GRE or a GMAT exam or for any English proficiency exam. This is how the process started. And fortunately, I got the offer from some of the universities, for 45 universities. Now the question is, which
one
university
to
should
select?
has to finalize?
Correct.
Right. Then I have to look out for the parameters that I decided. Like the first one is the course structure. Second is obviously the financials I have to look forward for. Right. So after doing that, I finalized one of the university. I went to Texas Tech University for my master's in electrical engineering.
Okay.
Right.
Core engineering.
Yeah, core engineering, right? So if I compare it, like when I was dreaming for US, I have lot of myths about US. Like if I go over there, so the life will be totally different, and like we see in the movies or in the videos, like
Yeah.
so. But the reality is totally different. And there, a picture came up from a counselor and from the university representative who discussed about the life in US. Right, I have to get an image of US, like there is a lot of struggle obviously for everyone.
Correct.
Right, for every student they have to understand the initial struggle, the culture shock, we can say. Right, the culture that we have in India and the culture in US totally different.
Yeah.
Right, so we have to bear that. Other than that, we have to compensate with our education, like we need a good GPA, so we have to manage everything by our own.
Correct.
Right, so this is how
Proper
the
independent life.
exactly. And obviously you have to maintain your GPA.
Correct.
If you are looking for opportunities in future, Even if you're coming back to India or you get an opportunity in US for internship or for full time, obviously GPA plays a major role.
So, can you explain what an international recruitment officer actually does? What is the role and how important is this role?
Okay, so as being an international recruitment officer, it sounds like something fancy, but actually the role is very, I think a responsibility is there to understand the profiles of a student when we are having a discussion with the students. And as being an international advisor, I had to talk to the agents, like what exactly our university is, what kind of profiles we are looking for, right? It's not like we are just looking for a random profile. So we give them the requirements and we have to place the university in the market in a stable way. Like we are looking only for the students whose profile matches with the requirements that we are looking for, right? So this is the first thing. Other thing is placing the students in the right university, talking to the students, and then help them with their complete process. Like if they are facing any trouble with the or like not getting a decision from the department, so we generally ask the or request the department to release the decision early.
Correct.
Then we look out for the students for their I-20 process, like in case they were not able to understand how we have to apply for I-20, so we guide them for it.
Correct.
Then we help them in filing the visas as well, like how what are the steps and how they have to follow the visa process to guide them. And then once they have the visa in hand, then we obviously guide them for the pre-departure sessions also, like what kind of questions,
Preparations
yeah,
that they
preparations before going to you
yeah,
their
immigration
destination.
officers, questions, and everything.
Right.
So, how universities view India and South Asia as a talent markets today?
Okay. So very good question. From the university point of view, if I say India has a big potential for students, but obviously it's if I talk about the quality of students, yes, we have that, but we have to find the right potential from right cities. Then yes, university looks out for first they target the metro cities because they see that most of the good universities or the big universities of India are in the metro cities. Then they look out for some of the universities which are in the regional areas but obviously high ranked, right? So this is how they are looking for the market, like we how we have to capture the market and from where we can get those kind of students what university is looking for. So this is for India and South Asia.
Okay. So, generally, you said metro cities and everything, but in general, nowadays, like tier two city students are more qualified, more disciplined than the metro cities, like a behavioral skills or discipline wise or things. So, will these things also matters in the university admissions when they do interviews or anything?
Okay, so with the interview process, they generally look out for if the student is meeting the requirements. And yes, but what happens with tier 2 or tier 3 cities, generally students feel that if they are going for an agent, because you know the market is majorly dependent on the partners right now, right? So students generally look out for an agent and they generally trust those agents who are like old in the market from and they are existing from so many years, right? And they generally find that these are in the metro cities. So generally that's the reason why universities look out for metro cities at very first stage. But yes, the tier 2 and tier 3 cities are growing now for the international market, and universities are targeting those areas also right now.
Because why I asked that question is because it should not be like, okay, going abroad is limited to certain people.
No,
There is a
it's not
myth,
like
no.
that.
So going abroad is only for rich or something like that. So today so many facilities are there because even the whatever you talk, your partners or everyone, they are also reaching out to tier 2 cities or tier 3 cities. They are doing
Right.
road shows. They are reaching out to people. But the university, as a university, also requires some kind of efforts to reach out the next level of students, right? So that was my question.
Okay. Universities, they want to look out for those agents or for the students, but generally what university feels is if they just grab every area of the market, so it will be very difficult for them as well because it chokes their bandwidth, the
Okay.
admission bandwidth as well, if they everyone starts applying to this university. So generally what they feel is they start promoting tier 2 tier 3 cities, but obviously they are asking for some numbers, but not a high volume,
Okay.
because they feel that from tier 2 tier 3 there are many students who have high potential of studying and graduating from their university. Obviously they are looking or searching for those kind of students. So it's not limited to any kind of a regional area or a metro city area, but I just recommended metro city because most of the students come to metro cities for the education, for their career thing. So that's why I
Yeah.
mentioned about that.
So coming to the next process of discussion, so how universities, in general, how US universities evaluate international applicants in general.
Okay.
In general, it is not specific to India.
Right.
In general.
So in general, there are majorly three factors. The first one is their academics, right? So this plays a major role because every university, if you are applying for, they generally ask you for a minimum percentage or a GPA,
Correct.
right? Then the second part comes up with the English proficiency exams or the GRE GMAT academic exams.
Test prep, basically.
Yes, test prep. So that also makes a weightage in the exam. So this is just the minimum requirement that student has to meet to apply for the particular university.
Okay.
But the major role that plays for the admission is the extracurriculars, like which includes their statement of purpose, letters of recommendation, and a resume. Right. So these are some of the factors that university looks out for. If student has a good GPA, good GRE, but they haven't concentrated on SOP and the SOP was weak, so maybe student can get a rejection even with a very good profile.
Okay.
Right. So this is how you are representing yourself.
Is there any other unique parameters that your university look for in students?
Yes, because our university is a research-based university. So if you are applying for a project-focused program or research-focused program, so generally look out for research profile. So student must have done some kind of research. They have some papers, like or in any kind of thesis they have done.
In
So
bachelor's,
in bachelor's or
projects.
in masters, yes. So we generally look out for a research profile that strongly help them to get through with the admission process.
Can students apply for a second master's in your university?
Yes, they can, but not for the same specialization.
Okay.
Right. Suppose if I talk about civil engineering, so there are multiple specializations.
Correct.
If student has done civil engineering in suppose structural engineering, right? So we are looking for a different one.
Okay.
Don't go for the same one.
Is there any age segment that, okay, a student should be below 33 years or 30 years, can only apply for a master course or a second master's kind of a thing?
No age limit.
No age.
No,
Even
no
at the
age
age of 35, 40 also
Yes.
they can apply.
Yes, they can.
Okay.
So if they have good years of experience, so they just need to justify it, like why you are going for a second master's after so many years. So that's completely fine with us.
Where, as an Indian, being an Indian, so where Indian students do mistakes while applying to US universities in the application side?
Okay. So generally, what students are doing right now, what we have seen is they generally don't do their own research. So even if a counselor is helping them with some university shortlisting, so we recommend students to look out for the universities first from their end also.
Okay.
Because generally what happens is there may be a similar course in both the universities, but if you look out for the curriculum, that can be different.
Correct. Syllabus,
Yes.
basically.
Yes. So student has to look out for that thing. The very first step should be there. Then they have to write their SOPs by their end. Don't ask their counselor to help them for it. Right? Generally, what students do is they generally feel that if a counselor helps them for it, so I think that will be a better option. But no. The reason being, if student writes about himself or herself in the
They know better than
they know better,
anybody else.
and it shows that the SOP was written by a student if the university is looking out for the holistic profile. If they are looking for the GPA, they are looking for the GRE or the English proficiency. Suppose a student has an English proficiency IELTS 6.5, right? But the SOP that created by a counselor, it may be of a higher level of around 8, 8.5. So university can easily understand that it's not written by a student.
Correct. But most, as you mentioned, you work with a lot of partners. So these partners do sell these kind of services, and in India, okay, if I'm paying and getting, so people will always believe, okay, I'm paying 10x money and I'm getting it, so let me be easy. Even the parents also do the same mistake. Okay, do you support this, do you support that? So if you support so many things, okay, I'll come and submit application. So do you what do you suggest for these kind of practices?
So what I feel is if you are applying for a university which is a ranked one, they are very serious about this part, right? And even if when we are meeting the partners and the agents in India, so we generally recommend them. You can help them with editing in case they have some grammatical mistakes. If they are not able to phrase sentence, you help them with the editing part, not with the drafting part. So don't draft an SOP. Let it draft by a student, and you can just do the editing part. So that will help them to go for it.
So generally, there are so many myths in the application process. We say, okay, there are few cases that I have read and I have heard from universities and others is, okay, don't write GRE, okay, write only IELTS, we will give the admission. So, but if you look at universities as a perspective in abroad, basically in US, by skipping one exam, they are not eligible for all the courses.
Right.
But when student approaches anyone like agencies or anyone, so they look for an easy route. What do you suggest for a student who is very serious on the long term?
Okay. So actually these things came up after a COVID.
Yeah.
Right. If you say like the flexibility is about the admission process, it generally came after COVID. They waived off the GRE for most of the universities, but universities are coming back to that requirements now. Right. If you see, most of the universities restarted taking the GRE as a requirement for the admission process, or GMAT as a admission process. So if a student is serious and they are targeting some good universities like the ranked universities, obviously GRE will help them for the admission process. And the reason being is, like, if I talk about Case Western, right, and if you are applying for, suppose, a civil engineering program, suppose 5 students are applying for the same program, 2 of them are having GRE, and we have 2 seats, right? So generally we recommend the students who are having GRE instead of the students who are not having GRE. Right. So the chance of getting the admission will be higher. And even in a long-term process, when the students are in the US, so generally what helps them is, like, they can apply for scholarships as well. GRE helps them for scholarship also in future, because it's not only one scholarship that's coming.
Correct.
Right. It's from different organizations also, and they look out for the complete profile.
Correct. True.
And even in future, suppose students look out for an education loan.
Correct.
Right. So generally, if the student applies for GRE GMAT, they have high chances of getting high amount of education loan with the low interest rate.
Correct. So another question to you is, like GRE exams nowadays, that is also become kind of a scams.
Right.
They use a mirroring of screens, or they use a CCTV. And what do you suggest for these kind of practices in this segment of study abroad?
So we don't recommend that, obviously, and we generally don't entertain that as well, right? And that's one of the reasons that the universities have like restricted with the GRE home based. So they generally want only the exams which are in the particular centers.
Okay.
Right? And again, when they are applying for the university asks for the officer score reporting also.
But even if they do home based also, they can do the official reporting of the score.
Yes, but home based generally not accepted by most of the universities now.
Okay.
Right. Like our university is also not accepting the home based right now.
What is a kind of a minimum score required in GRE to apply for US universities?
Okay, so
this is general question.
Yeah.
What is minimum? What is minimum criteria?
Right. So there is no minimum requirement.
Yeah.
But I generally recommend, if you are applying for a STEM program, right? So try to have high quant score, right? At least 75th percentile.
Okay.
Would be a decent one in the quant scores. Even if university is not accepting GRE, not required as an admission process, but if you appear for GRE, so try to have quant score even higher side if you are applying for a STEM program.
So what is this because basically in US only we talk like STEM and non-STEM. What is the difference here, and why they call this STEM and non-STEM?
Okay, so the only major difference about is because if we talk about STEM, it's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Yes.
Right. If any of the university having the programs which are you can say certified by STEM, obviously the stayback will be on a higher side. So if we talk about OPT, so for STEM students it's generally 1+2.
Okay.
But for non-STEM students only for 1 year.
It's basically to get that extension of visa. Nothing else.
Yeah, nothing else. Okay. It's just a bit technical. A STEM degree is quite technical.
So we covered like admissions or myths or comparatively between GRE, GMAT, whatever SOPs and everything, STEM, non-STEM. So most of the parents will have a concern, or a student, like whatever we buy. Okay, if we buy a book or a watch or a laptop or anything, we always think how I can use this as a value for money. So similarly, it's a general question. US means we need 40 to 60 lakh rupees for the education. Today, because of dollar, it might go another 10% extra.
Right.
So, in what ways the student or a parent should analyze before going, on the day when they travel, during the course of education, post education, how they should plan their finance, how they should look this as an investment, because we always think investment only in India.
Right.
We never think it's a value addition that will go for ages to get the recovery of the things.
Right.
So short term is ROI. I invested 40 lakhs in US. So when I can take it this money back in the salaries and everything. So can you put some insights on these kind of topics?
Yeah. So obviously, it's a very important parameter when we are finalizing any university.
Correct.
Right. So obviously, it's from, I think this question should be from majorly from the parents' end. Right. So they have to think on the complete economics, how much they are investing, and what is the return of investment on that thing. Right. So there are few parameters that comes in between. Suppose if I talk about, even if you are having the queries from the students, most of the students I think will come for computer science to you,
Correct.
for general computer science, right? I think there are lot of things behind that, right? Instead of just going for a computer science, do some market research. Market research says, like, if I come back to India in a computer science department, and if I'm going for a job in Java, the Java jobs are easily available,
Correct.
but obviously the salaries will be on a lower side.
True.
So, right. But if I have interest in like SAP, right? If I have interest in AI, if I have interest in like cyber security, right? Obviously, these are some of the fields where the salary package will be on a higher side, and the ROI will be obviously better. So whenever you're going for any kind of program, first of all, look out for the market value, what comes in and what area is booming in the industry. It can be India, it can be US, it can be any
Wherever.
country.
Yeah.
Right. So they should look out for first. They should look out for this thing. Then, when they are selecting a university, they should look out for the professors, how old they are into the university, what kind of alumni are there. Right. They should have a research about the alumni also, alumni network, because if you are looking for a job, obviously references plays a very vital role in getting
Correct.
an opportunity.
Correct.
Other thing they can look out for is the employability rate of a university. Right. If it's on a higher side, obviously most of the students are getting graduated and getting the employability within like 3 months of their graduation. Obviously, that will help them to get the return on investment.
So, like, how many hours a student can work as a part-time in US?
So it's 20 hours per week,
Okay.
and they have to work inside the campus.
Inside the campus. They cannot
Yeah.
work outside the campus.
They are not allowed to work.
But that is a myth that people will say, okay, you can work wherever and all those things.
It's just a misguidance, what I say, because generally counselors, or if we talk about the agents, just to add on, like, they can earn some money and then go and do part-time off campus to earn the money and get their expenses to be done.
Correct.
So I think it's not the right way to guide the students. The important thing is they have to give the discussion with the law. Like,
Okay.
you are allowed to work
20
only
hours.
inside the campus.
Okay. But will the university has a capacity to give so many part-time jobs for the students?
Yes. If I talk about one of the universities, suppose if I talk about my university from which I graduated, right? I studied from Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
So this is one of the largest university, second largest university in US,
Okay.
right? With a campus of around 1340 acres, right?
Okay.
So you can see a huge campus. And obviously the student intake will be around like 30,000 students were studying in the university,
Okay.
because the campus is big. So they are enrolling students according to that. If the campus is small, they are obviously not enrolling 30,000 students. They're enrolling small number of students. So this is according to the kind of opportunities they can have in the campus.
How much can they earn when they do this university jobs?
It varies. It depends upon two factors. The first one is the kind of job. So there are four kind of part-time opportunities. One is graduate assistantship, research assistantship, teaching assistantship, and student assistantship, right? And the wages also varies.
Okay.
Other thing is the location. Suppose if you are in Texas, obviously there is no state tax, so obviously the wages will be on the lower side.
Lower
The
side.
expenses are on a lower side.
Correct.
But if you are going for California or New York, obviously the wages are higher because the living expenses are higher.
So what? Okay, I applied to university. I completed. Before application, what is my stress skills? Like after studying in US, what will be the student ready material that they will achieve to become their fit for a job? How the universities in US prepare or provide an opportunity for a student to build themselves?
Okay, very good question. So if I add on few things over here, the first one is when you are going to a university, you will be assigned an academic advisor inside the university. They will talk to you after every semester to discuss on what subjects or courses you need to select for the next semester
Okay.
according to the market need and in which I'm having strength. Suppose if I am going for a computer science program, my strength is suppose AI, but I am choosing Java or I am choosing any other course. So my professor will ask me, you have strength in these fields, so go for this one. And according to the market need, these are the companies or these are the locations where you can be a good fit for when you are applying for an employability. So that is a very important point. Like academic advisors are available.
Okay. So in India, for example, if I'm studying in India for either UG or a PG, so we have a placement cell or a placement office. So
Right.
we bring companies, students come and they'll write exams, they'll give interviews and they'll get placed. So what is it in US and also in
Okay.
your university?
So the process is almost the same, just a difference of words. In India, we call it as campus placement.
Correct.
In US, we call it as career fair.
Okay.
So we have a career cell which helps students to build their resume, to help them like how you have to appear for the interview and how you have to answer the questions. Even they have the information sessions from the companies as well. Like if I have an education fair like after 2 days, so companies will be visiting or the people will be visiting to the university and do some information sessions for the students so that they can look forward for it, like what my strength is or what kind of job I'm looking for, whether the same kind of opportunity is available with the company or not. So if it's there, obviously high chances of getting the employability.
So what is the average salaries for a fresh graduate who graduates from the universities?
Again, a tricky question actually.
Because
And
these are important questions to
right,
be addressed.
but again, it varies from location to location. Like in India, suppose if I am working in Delhi, my wage will be different. If I am working in Bangalore, my wages will be different.
Correct.
Similarly goes with Mumbai, right?
Absolutely.
And if you are going to any tier 2 city, obviously the wages will be
Correct,
different.
because taxes,
Taxes and living
expenses.
expense, everything. So
In
the
US,
similar
what
thing
is it?
is in US,
Yeah.
right?
Can you share some numbers?
Okay,
Average
so if I
numbers.
give an example, suppose in Texas, if you are having a salary of around $65,000 a year, so and if you are in California with $90,000, almost the same.
Almost the same.
Yes, because of the taxes, because of the living expenses, that's it.
Okay. So, is really ranking matters for the university?
Uh,
Or I'll put the question like this. Will students choose university based on the ranking, or should choose student or a parent choose the university based on the curriculum? Which one do you prefer or do you suggest?
right. So I will give you a perfect example for it. Suppose I am applying for two of the universities. Both have computer science, right? But my major interest is in cybersecurity. University one, which is high ranked, they are not having a specialization of cybersecurity.
Okay.
But a university on a lower rank, they have the cybersecurity program and the courses they are offering, it relates to what I'm looking for.
Okay.
So my first preference should go with the course curriculum
Okay.
instead of going for
Right.
a ranked one, because what I'm looking for is not offered by that university.
Correct.
So why should I go for that ranked university? But if the ranked university is offering the same kind of course what I'm looking for, you should go for that one. Ranking, it doesn't matter when you're going for the career fair. What matters is the kind of project work, the kind of research work, or the kind of assignments that you have done, and the curriculum that you have studied in the university. That matters the most, and your GPA. And obviously, if it's high ranked, there may be some reason for it.
Correct.
right? Maybe because of the professors who are doing a good kind of research work, right? Because it matters when the ranking is assigned to any of the university. So if you're going for that one, obviously research will be higher and you can see good projects.
So why most of the US universities give the admissions for cross branches? Like, for example, they're from electronics, they give admission for computer science. They're from mechanical, they also give admission for computer science. Why these things happens in US?
Okay, because they are not restricted like what you have done in the previous studies, but they are looking your intentions. So I have one of the student who studied civil engineering in India and went for business analytics in US, right? And the reason was he was not interested in civil engineering just because of the pressure from parents. He took civil engineering. Even he got some reappears or backlogs in his studies, but finally he got graduated in BTech civil engineering. He came to me like, "Sir, I want to go to US, but I don't want to go for civil engineering. I am looking for a course which I am interested in related to a computer science. If I am able to get computer science, will be good. Other than that, related to computer science."
So you're basically suggesting before picking a course for graduation, decide what you're good at,
Yeah,
not to jump in whatever is in the flow and then switch and fight for
exactly.
everything.
So that is the best part about US. They are giving you an opportunity to change your course even after your bachelor's, right? But obviously they look out for some of the relevancy as well. Like if after suppose civil engineering, I want to apply for computer science. So there should be a reason behind it. Why I got interest in computer science. I have to show some kind of courses I have studied, any kind of extracurriculars I have done, any kind of experience I have. So what exactly gave you the intentions of going to computer science?
Okay.
So there should be relevancy for it.
Okay. So my next question will be like scholarships, or is there any kind of a meritorious, non-merit? Then is there any financial aid that provides from based on the projects that the students are done in their bachelor's, or is there any other way that you support students who have a good merit but he cannot be afford or something like that?
Okay, so if I talk about the scholarships, generally it's a holistic profile of a student. It's not only GPA, it's not only GRE. Obviously, we look out if a student is not having good scores in GRE but having good experience.
Correct.
Obviously, the file will be considered. And there are a couple of kind of scholarships. The first one is like merit based. Obviously, it depends upon the student profile.
GPA, IELTS.
Other one is need based, is generally for undergrad students, not for masters or PhD.
Okay.
Right. But if I talk about the financial aid, everything depends upon the kind of funding a university is having. Right. Suppose this year our university got good amount of funding. So it's generally for the research work, majorly.
Okay.
Right. And if I'm going for some kind of research work, obviously university can offer me some kind of scholarship that will help me to do some research in the university.
So another thing is in US you have like universities, state funded, then it's alumni funded kind of a thing where alumni fund or a company's fund.
Right.
And there are like small community universities. So what is the difference in this?
So the major difference is not about like kind of funding, because even if like if I talk about Case Western, it's a private university still funded by government,
Huh.
because we have a high research profile, high research work which is going on in the university. So obviously we are getting funds from the government as well.
But
Right.
there is no much of difference in things.
Yes.
Based on the research the university is doing, so you will be receiving the funding from either public or a private
Or a
venture.
private ventures, right? Suppose if I talk about my university from which I graduated, so it was our department, electrical engineering, was funded by AT&T,
Correct.
because
It's a telecom.
because it was one of the alumni
Correct.
who is holding like AT&T. So he was the one who is funding us for the research work and for the other parts.
For which stream students should look US as a destination?
So everything depends upon what kind of what I have studied in India, and now what my aim is. So don't go like my friend is looking for this course, so I should go for the same course. It should not go like that way. Right.
Okay.
So always look what I'm looking for. Suppose I have a student who was going for painting in US because he thinks that creative arts is with some of the universities which are highly ranked, and he can get some better opportunities after coming back to India. So he will get some new technologies to learn in painting as well.
Correct.
Right. So it doesn't matter for which course you are going for. What matters is what your profile is and what is your aim after 5 years, where you are looking yourself.
Then generally before application, they completed the application, admissions, they got it. So after admission, what all preparations that student should do before visa,
Okay.
in general with US and also with your Case Western Reserve University?
Okay. So generally, they must have complete research about the university for which they are going for, and on what basis they have finalized that university. Second thing is they should look out for the course curriculum in detail, what exactly they want to study. Because currently, if you see about the culture of US visa consulate, they can ask you a technical question as well. What is your course structure? Right? On what basis you select this course? What is your aim of selecting this course? Like, if I am my aim and the course that I have decided, if they are matching, obviously they can understand that student has done some research. He knows what the market value will be once completing that course. Right.
Correct.
So they should be aware about it. Another thing is they should be very clear about the funding, right? From where the funds are coming and what is the ROI if you're coming back to India. Because at the end, you have to show your intentions of coming back, and they should have a market research of India. Like if they are if coming back to India, so in which cities the jobs are related to the course they have studied, and what
Correct.
kind of wages will be there, and how
Best.
much time will it take to cover the amount they have invested.
So yeah, as you mentioned, visas. So currently, everyone knows there is a lot of policy shift in the every geopolitics and everything. So, what advice you suggest students to clear the visas to pursue their going to US?
Okay. Yeah, geopolitical issues are there, but I think at the end, the student aim is studies, right?
Correct.
And they don't have to compromise on that part,
True.
right? But we think about the embassy thing or the consulate, what they are looking for right now is a diversification. So diversification is not in the term of students coming from different cities. They are also looking at diversification in terms of the universities you are selecting. So suppose I am going for University 1. I have 3 or 4 friends who are also looking for abroad. What they see is, okay, you are going for University 1. I think we all should go for the University 1. So I think that should not be the case, right? So this is happening just because I'm looking for an agent. I'm not looking for a counselor.
Okay.
So there is a difference between a counselor and an agent. So counselor is the one who guides you according to your profile. But agent is the one who guides you according to the universities they have in their panel.
So you suggest if any student or a parent while applying for abroad education, so they always look for a knowledge of a counselor than a partners that company or a agent has.
Exactly.
Okay.
And also one of the parameter, but we look out for any country when we go, we are going for global exposure.
Correct.
Because if I talk about computer science, it's also available in India.
Yeah.
But why you are going to US and spending so much of the amount? Because you are looking for global exposure. You are looking for some more creative ideas. And that comes up when you are meeting with people from different countries, right? So what I believe is look out for a university where the Indians will be there, but not on a high number. So there should be a diversification of students from different countries.
Okay. So the another thing, what would you advise for a students or parents from the how early they should start the applications?
Okay. So if I talk about a US process, it generally starts 1 year prior to the program start date.
Okay.
Right. Suppose if I am applying for fall 2026, applications already opened in August 2025.
Correct.
Right. So if you are planning, I recommend apply early because US universities look out for the application of first come first serve basis.
Okay.
Right. Even if I am one of the weak point in my profile, but other things are fine and I applied quite early, high chances of getting my admission will be there. But if I have a very good profile but I'm applying late, maybe seats get full and I may not be able to get through with the admission.
Is there any percentage of seats reserved for country wise or a region wise or a branch wise?
I believe no.
Okay.
University is not restricted to any of the country, like we need only these number of students from one country or from other country. But if I talk about from the visa point of view or from the consulate point of view, they generally look out for diverse students from different countries. Right. Suppose for one university, suppose 100 students are coming from India. Right. But they have a seat capacity of international students for 80. So they don't want all 80 students from India.
Correct.
They want around 20, 30 students from India, 20 or 30 from different country, from China or from other countries, right? So maybe most of the students will get their visa rejection. And that is one of the reason of high visa rejection in India right now.
Because this information will not be available with anyone.
Yeah.
This is
This is not
strictly
publicized
internal
anywhere.
information.
This is what we think. And we also believe a diversification is required.
Yeah, because you get the quality and you get
Right.
the very students who are specifically they are really interested for studies,
Yeah.
not on a just to enter a country.
Exactly. So just don't go for the popular names.
Yeah.
Like if I talk about 3 or 4 popular names, don't go for that. Right. So there are a lot of universities. If I talk about Case Western, maybe very few people know about this university.
Correct.
And if you talk about its ranking, is ranked 51, which is highly ranked from most of the universities which are in India, where people are looking for.
Definitely.
Right. So better than look out for some universities which can be a good profile or a good university for you, but maybe just because some of the popular names you are going for the other university. So don't do that.
So what would you advise students, or what kind of questions will you advise to students to ask any agents or a partners?
Okay.
Or would you ask them on a counselor style, or what questions do you suggest students to test the agent knows the knowledge or not?
Okay. So actually it's not about like how they can judge, because there is no parameters for it.
Okay.
Right. But what they need is, like, if I'm going for a counselor, it's the counselor's role to discuss the profile with the student, understand what actually the profile is, what are the weaknesses in his profile, and according to that, a counselor should guide them how to strengthen it or how to represent it in statement of purpose. So whenever student is applying for a university, so they are aware about it, that how I have to represent my profile in the best way to the university.
Correct.
Right? Because if I talk about a statement of purpose, right, there are 2 factors for it. One is why university is choosing you out of all the students who applied for that program, and other option is why you choose this university if you have so many options.
Correct.
So it's from either side, right? So there's a mutual interaction between an SOP from university end and from a student end.
That's a bridging document.
Yeah, right. So that is the first factor, that a counselor should explain to the student how to go for it.
Correct.
Other thing is they have to look out for the course. Right. If student comes from a computer science background, so it's the duty of a counselor to explain them what all courses are available, just not tell about the general computer science.
Correct.
So what kind of specializations are there? They can apply for a business analytics program, or there is a program named MIS. Right. So this is, if student is having an experience of something managerial for 2 years, but also have a background from computer science.
Correct.
So MIS would be a better role for them.
Means the counselor should be more knowledgeable than a company or a student.
Exactly.
Because they should understand your requirement, then student, then the university, then they have to suggest a course, and also they have to suggest the university.
Exactly.
So the knowledgeable counselors are more important than anybody else.
Yes, and also the important part is about the finances as well.
Correct.
So whenever I'm going to a counselor, so they should understand my pocket as well.
Correct.
Right.
Definitely.
And according to that, because what happens is, suppose I'm a counselor, I recommend you particular university A, right? You got the admit, and at the later say you said no, it's very expensive, I don't want to go for this university.
Correct.
So the work that I have done, you have done in your profile, everything will going to win, right? So we should look out for all these parameters at the very initial stage.
Correct.
Even the weather. So as a counselor, I should know where my university is located.
Correct.
So they should be aware about the geography as well.
Absolutely.
So as being a student, I don't want a very cold area. So they should know that what areas I have to recommend to a student.
Correct. Based on their health and everything.
Yeah. So they also aware about the geography of the university.
So generally, what are the type of visas in US for students?
So for students, there are like F, J, and M.
Okay.
Right. So F1 is for the full-time students. J is for a short-term program, like when going for an internship or going for a project. And then is the M, which is for vocational programs.
Okay.
Right.
So in general, what would you advise for any student? Is it good to go abroad or to stay back in India for their education?
Okay. So again, as I mentioned you earlier, they should look out what they are looking for themselves after 5 years. Right. Obviously, a higher education from any country, it can be US, it can be UK, Canada, any country, when they're coming back, obviously there is an edge in their career. The reason behind is the curriculum. Like in India, if I talk about the education system, some of the universities are following very good curriculum according to the market need,
Correct.
right? But we are following the traditional thing for most of the universities. Almost 90% universities are following the traditional curriculum, right? And that is the reason the growth is quite slow, right? But if I'm looking for a higher growth early, so if I'm going to US, Canada, or any country, so what the curriculum is according to the market need,
Correct.
what is new in the market, and what exactly the industry need. So they are going to teach you according to that. And even if you have seen in your experience, somehow if you see that this university was offering this course last year but not offering this course this year.
Yeah, I've seen that in
So
abroad.
the reason is every 6 years they do a market analysis, right? What is the demand of the industry?
Yes, whether
Yeah.
should we run this course
Or not.
Because even when I visited few universities in Europe, they also said the same. Shiva, we don't need these courses for further because
Exactly.
no one
Because
is
already
taking.
the boom has
Yes.
come so in
Yes.
this industry. So they generally close that course for a couple of years, and after a couple of years they can restart the course just because the demand again is there in the market.
Another question is, in India, the formal education is taking a lot of time to getting improvised, but upskilling courses are selling like hotcakes.
Right.
So, what do you suggest for a student to should they spend more on upskilling or should they spend on a formal education on an improvised thing? Here, 3 points. One is what universities or institution, what inputs that you want to share, what student has to develop or what student has to think how good they have to utilize the formal system rather spending additionally learning Java or ABCD courses, because whatever they have learned in the formal education, if they're not implementing, so it's of no use. So how would you answer this kind of a question? In India, any formal education is one thing, and in I'll not say informal education, but like training institutions or higher demand than the formal education. Is it similar in US or not?
It's not because in US, if I talk about the universities, their curriculum is quite enough, like to prepare students for the market need.
Okay.
But if I talk about India, obviously formal education, like we discussed, like they are following the traditional path, right? But if they update their curriculum with the market need, I think the strategies that students are following right now, going for an institution for the skill assessment or to improve their skills, I think that will not be a requirement.
Okay.
And further.
So, do you suggest any psychometric test before a student planning for abroad education?
It will surely be helpful because it generally happens when we are going for an abroad education and we are going for an agent. Obviously, I think students should look out for a psychiatrist, psychometric test, because it will help them to understand their strengths, what exactly they want in their life, right? And what exactly agent is offering them.
Okay.
Right. But if you're going for a counselor, I think psychometrics obviously be helpful, but I think most of the counselors will give you the information what you are looking for.
Okay. Another question is nowadays it's a kind of a trend. Students who are studying, they quit and they become agents with the universities. So how students or parents should evaluate these kind of system?
Okay. So suppose some student who started their studies in US and after one semester they came back to India and started their own venture. Like that what you are asking.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So first of all, they have to see like why he dropped their studies. As being a student or a parent, my first question should be like, why you dropped the studies and came back and started this venture, right?
Right.
So from there itself, I think they can get some understanding what exactly is going on.
Yeah.
If he is not able to manage his studies, so how he is going to counsel you for that?
Correct.
Right.
So it's based on a skill assessment. So
Exactly.
you could not do it. So how can you evaluate others and guiding them for
Exactly. Other thing is, as we discussed earlier as well, like if a student is going to a counselor, there should be some questions, or a counselor should know about all the information, like how you have to guide a student about it. But a counselor, suppose I also straight from US, currently I'm guiding the students. Right. I complete my studies. I did my counseling sessions. I learned, I researched about a lot of universities during my initial career, right? And then I came to know like what kind of courses are there. Still, I'm learning,
Correct.
right?
Definitely.
So every day is a new learning. So
Learning never ends.
right. So we have to look out for the courses.
Correct.
What kind of new courses are there? So what kind of universities a student can be eligible for? So do that kind of research work.
So the next question to you is, do you suggest a student to go abroad, irrespective of the country, for a bachelor's or a master's?
Okay. So there is just a thin line between going for a master's or a bachelor's. So the thin line is, suppose I'm going after a bachelor's. I'm very young. My age will be between 21, 22 when I'm graduating, right? And this is the initial start of a career, right? So I have lot of things to do. I can do experiment like I've studied everything in my bachelor's. Suppose I'm going for electrical engineering, and suppose I'm going for a VLSI design, right? I started my career as a VLSI design, and after a couple of months or 6 months, I found that I think VLSI is not a cup of tea for me. I think I should go for digital or analog design, or and go for a chip design. I think that should be a better area for me. So after my bachelor's, I do have those kind of experiments that I can do with my career at the initial stages, right? And once I am into the market, I know that suppose VLSI is the cup of tea that what I'm looking for and I'm interested in. So I can look for a master's in VLSI, particular
Correct.
specialization, right? That will grow my skills and I can go for my growth in career,
Correct.
right? But if I'm going for a master's and I'm graduating in 25, 26 at the age of 25, 26, right? So I have very limited time to get my career to be stabilized. So I can do those kind of experiments.
Correct.
Right. I just need to look out for career. Even if I'm liking or not liking it, I
Yeah,
have
for
to
you.
go for it.
Correct.
So I think that is one of the biggest difference that I found. Like after bachelor's, you can do experiments. You can decide on what masters you want to do.
No, my question was after 12th, means should I go abroad for bachelor's to studying my undergraduation, or should I complete my bachelor's in India? Should I go for a master's? So which
Okay.
one is a right way to choose abroad education?
Okay. So the feedback, I think the answer lies in the feedback that we get from the parents.
Yeah, okay.
Right. If I talk about the students who are going after 12th, we have seen more positive feedback about those kind of students because they are getting responsible at the age of 18.
Correct.
Right. They understand what parents are investing on their studies. Right.
Correct.
So they get more serious about it.
Their life will be very on a right path
Right.
because
path.
they are taking their decisions
And
on
they
their
are
own.
they are managing everything. They are managing their studies. They are managing their household. They are
Correct.
managing their finances.
Correct.
Right. They are managing their part-time job.
Correct.
Right. So they have to manage everything. So those students are getting more responsible at the age of 18. That what I
Correct.
have seen. And parents are finding it like when they are in India, they were not doing those kind of, even they were not confident to send them or not.
Correct.
But when student is in the university,
They'll
and
take care.
yeah, so they find that it's better to send the student after
After 12th.
after 12th itself.
Fine. So as we wrap up today's conversation, so one few things become very clear, like when to start, what are the things that you should follow before applying, then while in the process, what all you should do, what kind of documents, like your preparation for visas and everything, not only from a kind of a formal style, but also an informal. He explains on what kind of how you choose universities and everything. I would like to sincerely thank Mr. Priyank Garg for sharing his insights and his personal experience and about his role of international recruitment officer and everything. So yeah, so to every parent and student who are watching this, choose credibility over confidence, preparation over panic, and long-term outcomes over short-term wins. So the right university, the right guidance, and the right intent can make all the difference. Choose counselors or agencies. So thank you for tuning in. If you find this content is useful or this information is very useful, so do share it with whom is in need of it. Would you like to share anything on a closing terms?
So I think this session is very helpful for the students or for the parents who are dreaming for abroad and looking for a genuine feedback or a counseling from the industry. Right. So I think this is the right way that students should look out for a counselor assess their profile and apply accordingly. And just don't go like if one person is going to one university, everyone should go for that. Look out for your profile and diversify yourself accordingly.
So we will see you in the next conversation with new guest. Thank you.